Hello and happy Friday, and thanks for tuning into RadioFreeRhinecliff.org. In this show in particular, correct me if I'm Norm, I'm your host, Norm, and I'm thrilled I would be thrilled to be here tonight with Mr. Fletcher William Tingle III if he had actually shown up. But he's running a little bit late, I guess. I hope everything's okay. And, it's like he's a restaurateur, so it's like, oh, your table will be ready in like 5 minutes. Your table will be ready in 10 minutes. So I guess that's how it goes. But instead of our featured guest, who I'm sure will be along soon, we have fabulous staff, this guy named Matt and this woman named Jen, who run this station, RadioFreeRhinecliff.org. And they're filling in and killing time until Fletcher William Tingle III arrives. Welcome.
Welcome, Norm. Welcome to the station.
Because you were here before I got here.
Happy Friday.
Thanks. And to you too. How many shows have you all done already today? I know Fridays are busy days.
6, 7?
Something like that.
7 shows. You're the 8th show of the day.
And are any others live?
Not today.
No.
Not today. Often?
We usually, not usually, but sometimes have 2 shows live. You and one other.
And do you prefer doing recorded shows or live shows or?
I have a slight preference for live if we can do it.
Because there's no post-production.
There's
there's no editing.
There is actually still post. Now we've started to do post-production because AI makes certain things really wonderful.
Really?
Yeah.
And what kind of AI do you use? I'm a little bit afraid of using any AI. I don't want to be on AI's radar.
Are you afraid that they're going to get you into the machine?
Like Tron.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. I'm afraid of that.
I mean, AI is a tool that can be used right now for a lot of things. I mean, you experience AI every day when you interact with your iPhone.
Yeah.
Or your email. Everything has got some AI behind it. No, we use it basically to remove background noise.
Okay.
And it does an incredible job of it. And it also transcribes some of the shows that we want to transcribe so that it can be edited as a transcription instead of old-fashioned editing with a sound wave.
Right.
And it works really well.
And for the noise reduction, you used to use just sort of some kind of filter thing.
Yeah, which works a little bit, but this is like next level. It's you don't need to play with it. It does everything.
Amazing.
It figures it out, and it just does
And
it.
how good is the transcription?
It's pretty darn good. It's only getting better. It's constantly getting better. But there's nothing you read and be like, I have no idea what that's trying to say. It's all very clear. It just might, do minor differences.
So did you buy these AI programs somewhere?
The way software works these days, nothing is bought. It's all leased. It's all the razor blade model. It's like cable TV or your phone service. They want a monthly fee. I mean, remember when you used to buy Microsoft Word and now you have to pay $10 a month?
I still have.
I mean, you can still own it, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do. I still own Photoshop. It's like a 20-year-old version.
But you can't update your computer too much. I have many clients like that.
It depends how patient you are to be on hold with the Adobe people. Say, I bought that. Doesn't matter how many machines I get. That wasn't part of your deal. I own this. Now hook it up with my new machine.
That's not possible now. I mean, I've had 20 years old.
Well, I haven't done that in like 7 or 8 years.
Well, I mean, a lot of people do, clients I have who are photographers, they buy half dozen old machines on eBay and other places just to make sure that the machines don't break. For example, Hasselblad, the camera company.
Yeah.
They made the best scanner, Imicon scanner, this type of scanner, which photographers all use to scan their negatives. It's the best. It's one of the best things you can buy, but they stopped supporting it like 8 years ago. So you have to use an old Mac to run the thing.
You have to use what?
You have to use an old Mac or you can't run it. You can't run it on anything that's like in the last 7 years.
Oh, right.
So you buy several of these Macs because the scanner costs $35,000.
Right. I have an old Mac and I keep it. I think I still have the plug because the plug always changes. Yep. That has Quark Express on it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty special.
Yeah.
I was a Quark trainer, so I remember it well.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Yeah, Quark was amazing.
Loved Quark.
I don't know how they got pushed out of that realm.
Monopolies.
Monopolies.
It's all monopolies. Everything's
and
a
who
monopoly.
are the monopolies? Adobe seems to
Adobe seems like a monopoly.
Working really hard.
Yeah, well, they're not the worst monopoly. We have other monopolies worse.
Would you care to name names?
Amazon.
Ugh. Amazon. But they're not-
Facebook.
but they're in different realms. I mean, it's not sort of
different
like
monopolies, but Facebook is a social media. I mean, they keep buying things in order to, they don't create anything, they just buy it.
Amazon
Do you want to keep going on? You have other people on your hate list.
on your
There's
shit list. But wait a minute, we were going to talk about the station.
Oh,
Yes.
What are the other shows that are on Fridays?
Well, on Fridays we have a bunch of shows, but I think we'd like to talk about the new shows we're about to have.
Oh, you would you? Well, I don't want to talk about that.
All right.
All right, no, let's talk about the new shows.
We have a
Matt's my boss, so I got to do whatever.
no,
he
but if you
says.
want to talk about the shows,
Yeah.
they're old. They're old. We want to talk new. No, they're all good. No, we have a great new show called Pilgrim's Progress with Kitty Pilgrim, who is one of the most lovely people who live in this
and
hamlet.
one of the best names.
It's an
right up there
incredibly
with
great
Kimmy
name.
Berlin.
Yeah.
Kitty Pilgrim. She lives locally.
She
Yes.
lives as locally as you could be, and I mean without living
Upstairs?
like above or upstairs. But she lives in Rhinebeck.
And what's her show about?
So Kitty was a CNN host for many years. She's been in journalism, and so she's a true professional, and we couldn't be happier that she chose Radio Free Rhinecliff to start this program. And she's interviewing women of note, people who are, let's see, Alice Waters was the first one.
Nice place to start.
A nice place to start. We have people like Heather Cassano, who works for Google, and I listened to it. I was in the room during the interview, and I'm still not 100% sure what she does, but really interesting things with tech. Like, she brought it down to a digestible level.
Nice.
And women who are involved with exploration, and she's going to have people with politics and early childhood education and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Interesting.
National security, women in national security also.
Hey, guess who just showed up, everybody?
Oh, woo-hoo!
It's
Here, come
Fletcher
take-
William
come.
Tingle the
Here you
third.
go.
Good, you're rescuing us.
As they say, you got some splaining to do. Are you-
So hard to get a cab in this town.
it's impossible to get a cab around here. Are you all right? Everything's good?
Everything's all right. Thank you for
right,
checking.
good.
No, I'm
Well, I
so
checked
sorry
first.
for my delay.
And then you're just going to lay into mercilessly.
Berate, like I haven't had it all
Where's the cocktail you brought?
day. The cocktail's still at the bar.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
You ever woke up like 9 o'clock in the morning?
All the
for
time.
breakfast, and
Yeah.
then you blink and it's dinner time?
Often.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
like that.
It's like someone took my day and put it through a blender,
Yeah.
spread it on a dehydrator, dehydrated it, and then made a dust of it.
The dust?
Yeah, dust. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you texted me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And then I text you, well, thank you so much
of course.
for scurrying. You must live pretty nearby
I was at the restaurant. So,
Oh.
yeah.
at the restaurant. And what's the name of the restaurant for people listening at home who
Yeah.
didn't read?
Yeah, so I
promos.
I own and operate the Amsterdam and
Uh-huh.
Rhinebeck.
Nice.
So just a few hops, skips, and a jump away.
Uh-huh.
Got here as quickly as I could. Trains coming in, so
Thank you.
traffic getting to the train station was a little difficult. But
Yeah, it's tough. You got to go the back road.
yeah,
So the Amsterdam, you said you own and operate. I know you're the general manager
yeah.
and operate, and your resume lists like every single task you do, and your LinkedIn resume. And it's like, holy crap, that is so much stuff.
Yeah.
It's an enormous job, but it didn't say that you're also one of the owners.
Yeah.
Are
so
you
that's
one of, or are you the owner?
I am one of the owners. That's
Okay.
a recent development. 2 years ago when the world ended, everyone kind of relocated themselves. The founding owners and proprietors of the Amsterdam, Howard and Chris
Howard and
Jacobs.
Chris, yeah.
Exactly. Howard and Chris Jacobs. And the end of 2020, they sold their house and moved to Puglia, Italy. Full
To
time.
where?
To Puglia, Italy.
Okay.
Puglia. So they're in Bari and
Puglia for
Puglia.
us Ohioans.
Yeah. So they live now there full time. They've got a beautiful home in the La Cortando district, which is the historic area of Bari, the original kingdom. They've got a beautiful home there.
You've
their
been
two
there?
dogs. I have not, but I've seen pictures.
Are they listening? Come on, you got to bring Fletcher over.
Right, send me over. If I could just, get someone to watch the restaurant for 5 minutes, I could make it to Italy. So when they moved to Italy, they entrusted a good portion of their equity from the business into my name, making me one of the owners, skin in the game, but I was doing all of the work, and essentially,
Right.
anyway.
So they just sort of gifted it to you?
Pretty much.
They said, we want you to be a 1/3 owner partner or
Exactly.
whatever.
Yeah. So I've
Which
got
is
33% of the Amsterdam.
hats off to you.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Yeah, local boy made good.
Yeah.
So it's probably a pretty solid business decision, I think. If you've got this business and you're going away, you're not really going to be there sort of overseeing it, to have somebody, as you say, with skin in the game.
Yeah. They were more spectators than they were operators,
Uh-huh.
I'd say. As operations go in small businesses, as we know, is you're everywhere all at once, all at one time. Like today,
Yeah.
where my whole schedule got flipped, and had to climb to find a clock. Let's see. When I joined the Amsterdam in 2017, we had only been open for 2 months. And a part of a new restaurant, any new restaurant, the first couple of years are really, really about finding who you are as the restaurant. Where is your place in the community? Where is your place in the market? Of course, with anyone building and designing a restaurant, you somewhat know the answers to some of those questions of what you want to do in that restaurant. What we wanted to do with the Amsterdam was to create a haven for food, primarily to protect the history of the farms in this area and giving back to our farming communities. But we really wanted to change how the hospitality industry as a whole connects, molds, grows, supports its employees, the people in the industry.
Wow.
So when we opened up the Amsterdam, it was like, okay, what do we not like about working in restaurants?
So wait, let me back
Sure.
it up. They were open 2 months.
Yes.
And you talk about but they weren't in the restaurant business, so they
Yeah.
might not have had these concerns. So when you say we, it's kind of you.
Yeah, for
Uh-huh.
sure.
Okay.
Like I said, they weren't necessarily operators.
Right.
So they hired people who were operators.
Right.
And they put them into positions
Smart.
with care, trust, and faith with a dream. And was like, okay, here's our vision, make it happen. And when
Nice.
we all subscribe to that vision and we have a chance to mold that dream around what we can physically, feasibly do, we feel like it's a part of our dream. And so
Right.
we're protecting this vision, we're making it actionable, but we're taking the people who created that vision, which is all of us, mainly Howard and Chris, that just wanted a really good place to dine for their upstate home. We wanted to create this restaurant, this group of people who loves one another, loves what we do, loves our community. And how do we get there is by giving them the dream and saying, okay, let's run with it. Let's go. How can we meet this incredible goal of all-encompassing hospitality, not only for the community, for our customers and guests, but for our team, more importantly.
Right.
So when I came on 2 months into opening of the Amsterdam in 2017, my job was to ignite the culture that we have in our staff. So it was, how do we connect all of our team? How do we get our team to support one another, to enjoy what we do and not have it feel like a job? Not like
Right.
clocking in to, cash a check. No, we're
Right.
clocking in to create experiences. We're clocking in to create love and joy and memories, from a drink in a glass, food on a plate, to the conversation that we have at the table.
Right.
That was
It's-
my job.
It's kind of an entertainment
It
business,
100% is.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, so they shared with you. I mean, let me back up. Where did you come from before that?
Well, I guess speaking career-wise, I was a Culinary Institute of America student.
Uh-huh.
I started there in 2013. I was there for 4 years, moved to California and Florida with my studies, different areas of the industry.
But different outposts of the CIA.
Correct, yeah.
Right.
Florida was an internship. I went to the California campus in St. Helena, in Napa Valley, California. When I graduated in 2015, I actually returned and worked for the college. It was a fellowship program, so it was a manager in training. But essentially what you were doing is you were in charge of one of the 4 public restaurants on the
Right.
beautiful campus, which is staffed and operated by students. What most people don't understand is those public restaurants are actually classrooms. So
Right.
we are having a hand in education, but also running a business. So
Right.
we are constantly teaching at all times, From the moment they step foot at 6 a.m. to open up for lunch. They've got 2 hours of lecture and so on. And then we get into service. My job was managing the restaurant, and in conjunction with the front of house and back of house professor, the dining room and kitchen chef and manager, essentially.
Right.
My entire responsibility was on the success of the restaurant while learning the ropes.
Bocuse,
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it. I was there for a year and a half, moonlit as a bartender. That was always fun. Got my bartending chops. And then my contract was up in July. I started at the Amsterdam.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how did you find them, or how did they find you?
I had a few of the students that were in the class that I was managing the restaurant for were in their final classes before the graduation, and a lot of them were local to this area in upstate New York. And everyone was talking about this fun, new, exciting restaurant and how they had an interview here, and they were really excited because of X, Y, and Z, and it's not open yet. We're not sure when it's going to open. So I sent resumes all around. My husband and I flew out to LA and Chicago and doing interviews and seeing if we wanted to live there. And we kept coming back home so relieved. And it was like, yeah, we should just stay. We should just stay in this area because it's beautiful and our memories are here. Our friends are here.
Right.
So I sent my resume to the Amsterdam. I had an interview 2 days later, and I was on the floor that night.
Really?
Yeah.
Amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
And so the interview process, I'm guessing, that you were a hot commodity. Other places probably wanted you. Were you interviewing them as much as they were interviewing you?
For sure. It's definitely a two-way street.
And you liked their vision.
I did.
And you mentioned your husband. Is he in the hospitality business as well?
He is, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he is. That's how we met.
Oh, nice.
I was moonlight bartending, managing a restaurant in the morning and bartending at night. And
Oh, boy.
he was a server in the lunch hours. I had another job as a wedding coordinator. And I had a wedding one night that was severely understaffed. This was in 2016, 2017, severely understaffed. So I swapped my bartending shift with the AM manager. I ran the lunch shift, or she ran the lunch shift with me. I ran her lunch shift. She ran her my dinner shift. And we had flirted in between the two shifts and off and on for a couple of weeks, and I was running the lunch shift that he was serving on. So at the end of the shift, I looked at him and I said, "Hey, what are you doing tonight?" And he had
that was that tone of voice.
Exactly,
Hey,
exactly
baby,
like
what
that.
are you doing tonight?
What are you doing? He blushed and had a nice smile, and said, "Oh, nothing. Why? What do you have in mind?" And I said, "Great. I need you in this uniform at this restaurant at 4 p.m. We've got a 200-person wedding that we don't have staff for, so I
Great.
need you to come over there." He was so mad at me. Of course, he was so mad at me. I had ulterior motives, of course, but I fed him champagne and cake the entire night and took him out to the diner that night. The rest is history, and that was 10 years ago.
Okay, what diner?
The Palace Diner in Poughkeepsie.
Okay.
Back when the days were good at the Palace.
At the Palace Diner. I'm not sure I've ever been there.
It was, in my mind, the best. I mean, because I come from places that don't have diners. A restaurant's open 24/7.
Places that don't have diners.
I've never heard of a diner.
Where do you come
before.
from that doesn't have diners?
Well, I was born in Mississippi.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I promised the listeners a southern accent.
Yeah, sorry. So I was born in Mississippi, in Starkville, Mississippi. My whole family is still down there. Both sides of my grandparents are between Starkville, Mississippi, and Ripley, Tennessee, just about an hour north of Memphis.
Starkville, Mississippi.
Starkville, yeah. Starkville. Yeah. I moved all over the country. I relocated here just over 10 years ago from Des Moines, Iowa.
Okay. Des Moines. How the hell did you get there?
My dad is in agriculture, I guess you could say, and the deep throes of agriculture. He's a pretty brilliant guy in agriculture. He was a research scientist with a few different universities. So we moved all across the country, primarily in the southern United States, where he was either teaching or doing research publications of the sort. So every 9 to 18 months, we were hopping around.
Wow.
It definitely made for an interesting childhood.
Right. But Starkville was sort of a family seat.
Yeah. Yeah, Central Mississippi is where my entire dad's side of the family is. That's where they still reside. My mother's side of the family is just about 3 hours north in rural western Tennessee.
Rural western Tennessee.
Yeah.
Okay. So that'd have to be like north of Memphis. Somewhere.
Correct. Yeah, just about an hour.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh. And near Arkansas.
Correct. Yeah. If I stand on the roof of my grandfather's house, I can see Arkansas.
It's a whole different world down there. I've spent a lot of time down south.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
The area, the region, it's beautiful in its own way.
Right.
Its own way.
Yeah. People tend to like the landscape of the areas they grew up in.
Maybe that's my problem.
Well, the landscape here is completely different.
I fell in love with it. It's hard not to.
Yeah. Well, it's lots of hills for starters, and
don't have those in Iowa,
and some big rivers. I mean, I think central Mississippi doesn't really have any big rivers.
No.
You got to go west. Is it west from?
Correct.
Where,
yeah.
Okay. To the Mississippi. And did you, when you were a kid, did you travel around Mississippi much? Did you go to the Mississippi River?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, my grandfather's house is 10 minutes.
Okay.
From there. I mean, they live, I don't live there. They live what's known as the Delta.
Okay.
The Delta is the flat land that occupies both east and west of the Mississippi River. It is completely flat. It is about at river level. In the springtime, it gets really, really bad because the flooding backs up, miles inland from the banks of the river. So I spent a lot of time getting to know Ole Miss herself.
Wow.
There's a lot of history around that river, and a lot of people aren't aware how it's changed directions from flowing north to north before. Earthquakes have shaped that entire area. I spent a lot of time with the Mississippi River. Now that I'm talking about it out loud, it's kind of weird, but
Yeah. Well, and do you get back often?
I don't. No, that's I don't want to say it's a sore subject, but none of my family's listening, so I guess it's okay. 10 years ago when I moved to New York, I had made a few lifestyle decisions that didn't necessarily align with my family's values. So,
okay, I'm guessing right now.
Yeah.
Conservative Christian Mississippians.
We're talking evangelical.
And you mentioned you were married to a guy.
Yeah.
That's
big issue.
big issue. It happens. I'm so sorry that
I'm not
happened.
I'm not. I'm happy.
Good.
Yeah.
It's good. You're moving beyond all of that. So back to Mississippi, back to geography, the relatively safe conversation. Did you get down to the Gulf of Mexico and stuff when you were there?
I did. Living in Mississippi, everyone in New York has their vacation homes, right? Either upstate or out on Long Island or maybe Cape Cod or Martha's Vineyard, right? Really cool. Yeah, well, we had Biloxi, Mississippi. We had Gulf Shores, Alabama.
This is before the casinos.
This is right around the time of casinos.
Okay.
This was pre-Katrina.
Okay.
I guess I should say. My family had a RV lot, a parking space for an RV on the Gulf of Mexico. And there were some pretty fun summers.
Okay.
Really hot.
I love that. So they didn't have like a timeshare.
No.
They had a
Concrete pad
of asphalt with lines on either side that they had bought or they rented. They had a
I'm not sure the nature of it. I think they bought it because it was the same spot every year. I mean, maybe they were just great planners, but...
And so you and the family would all get in the RV. What kind of RV?
That was pretty large. My grandfather was a pretty well-to-do architect. But they were nice buses. They weren't like tour buses, but
and tell me again, how many siblings?
Me and my sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the four of
So
y'all.
6 of us.
Oh.
In that RV.
Okay.
The dining room table, it folds down into a bed.
Right.
Yeah, me and my little sister shared that.
And you'd park there. It was right on the...
Right there on the beach.
On the beach.
Yeah.
And you do that every year. And would you see the same kids every year who you knew, like from 2 RV slips over? Like, oh, there's Billy.
You're really cracking deep into my brain.
There's Dill. There's Jam.
I remember
there's Jam
riding
and
bikes
Scout.
a lot, but I don't think I have any reoccurring friends. No.
Yeah, but still, what fun to go to that same place every year.
That's cool.
When's the last time you were there in that RV slip?
Oh man,
and
I was probably 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you have any desire to sort of like take your husband and show him those things, those parts of your life before him?
Absolutely. We were talking about being able to look over into Arkansas earlier.
Right.
From where my grandparents were situated. We actually lived where we could see from the top of my grandparents' house. We could see the place where we lived in Arkansas. It's this little tiny town called Wilson. There's not much more than a square and a few
the river
buildings.
is the border all the way up the length of...
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
So it's literally right across the river from each other.
Right.
My first job was at this little cafe called Wilson Cafe. And I was 5, maybe. My first job. They dressed me up in the shirt, the t-shirt that they had, the green apron. My mom still has the picture and shows everybody. My first job was frying catfish at 5 years old at the Wilson Cafe.
Oh my goodness.
And the building is still there. My grandfather died in 2013. We were able to go down and visit the area, and we drove, so we were able to go up and really take our time getting to our grandparents' house. We went through Wilson, Arkansas, and the cafe is still there.
Nice.
Still the Wilson Cafe. Guns
Love
Grocery is across the street, and the only other building on the square is the bank, and it's still there.
We went down, you and your husband.
My mother, sorry.
Oh,
no, when my grandfather died. I would love to show my husband that area because it's a great memory.
And when you think about that, there must be a little bit of fear, like, okay, we're going to the Deep South, where people aren't necessarily friendly to folks who are different than them in any way.
In any way, yeah. It's definitely a sensitive topic to navigate with my husband,
right?
Even with myself, because I want to go, and whether I can mask or be straight assuming at times, it's not who I am, and anyway, but
right. I know.
I'd love
we
to
just
show. Yeah.
got to the most depressing thing.
I can't go.
Fuck America. Why are we like this?
Yeah.
And where's your husband from?
My husband is from New Milford, Connecticut, born and raised, has not moved 20 times in his life. So about an hour from here.
You.
Exactly, yeah.
Right. And did he go to the CIA as well?
He did.
Okay.
Yeah, we were just a few class dates apart from each other.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I love that. And where is he working now?
He's at Rivertown Lodge currently in Hudson, New York.
Uh-huh.
It is a hotel tavern.
Oh, yeah, that place.
It is fantastic.
Really nice place.
Shameless competition plug.
Super
They're
good
fantastic.
Bloody Marys.
Yeah. Haven't had it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Somebody dragged me there for brunch one time.
Oh, sure.
Like a 2 or 3 Bloody Mary brunch, which is just horrible.
It's a Tuesday.
Because then I get it was a Sunday or a Saturday. But then for me, I'm older. I got to sleep all day to get beyond that. But it was a really lovely place. That's kind of a hike. Do you all live between here and there?
We live in Hudson.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. I've lived there for 8 years.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Huh. And how did you land on Hudson when you were going to school in Hyde Park and working in Rhinebeck?
I didn't mind a commute.
Okay.
I didn't want to live where my job was.
Right.
30 minutes was about my max on a commute. And that's about what the commute is now. It's 35 minutes.
And it's a pretty drive.
It's a beautiful drive. Orchards and vineyards and mountains.
Especially if you're driving home at sunset.
It is fantastic. Haven't seen many of those lately, being in the restaurant world. But I wanted to be able to go out in my town and not be Fletch at the Amsterdam.
Right.
So the only way for me to do that was to live in Hudson.
Live somewhere else.
I don't mind being Fletch at the Amsterdam, but I also don't mind going around town and not being shouted out across the street.
And is it when you meet somebody in Hudson, and you're chatting up Storm, do you say, "My name's Fletch"?
Yeah, Fletcher.
Okay.
It's family name. I go by Fletch. I mean, that's my go-to is Fletch, but I have no shame in my full name.
It's my maternal great-grandmother's family name.
Wonderful. What was the last name?
Fletcher, yeah.
Yeah. My name is from Yorkshire, England.
Yeah.
It is just outside of Leeds. Back, I guess, in like the 11 or 1300s, it was a village called Ting Hill, Ting Hill. And Solomon lived in Ting Hill. His job was an arrow maker.
Putting the feathers on the arrows.
He was a Fletcher.
Nice.
So when they wrote down, I guess like a census maybe, or records, Fletcher, Solomon, Ting Hill, Fletcher Tingle.
Right.
And so the name just kind of formed from that origin.
And so you're the third.
I'm the third in direct succession.
It's probably the best name of for anybody who's been on this show.
Honored, thank you.
Yeah, trivia, I'm the second
Cool.
because I'm named after my grandpa, so it skips a generation.
Yeah.
If I hear you correctly, you're saying that both your dad and your grandpa.
No, mine skip as well.
Oh.
So my grandfather and his grandfather.
Oh, wow.
Exactly.
So skipping all the way down.
Yeah. So we're one off.
So you
All the
never
way.
met Fletcher William Tingle the first,
Never met the first.
but the
Heard he was a
second,
great guy. The second I knew really well.
junior. No, he would have been the second.
Correct, yeah.
Right.
He would have been the second.
Yeah, people say to me, well, how come you're not junior? I'm like, because I'm not junior. I'm not named after my dad. It's after grandpa.
Yeah.
Wow. Any plans to have kids?
I mean, we've been trying for
Yeah.
years. I just can't get pregnant. I don't know what it is.
I've got an idea. I'll tell you when we go off there. I'll tell you when the cocktail gets here.
There we go.
Yeah. No, but I mean, lots of gay couples have.
No, we are looking forward to children.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Whether or not I will name our offspring Fletcher or not, I'm not sure.
Right.
Probably not.
Well, their offspring. I mean, it's not yours.
No, right, yeah.
It have to be their offspring.
Correct, their offspring, yeah.
And and raise the question: whose surname would the kids get?
True. And his is very long. It's French, too. It's
Is
not
it?
English. Yeah, it's Boisvert. So it's Boisvert.
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 Sweet.
Yeah.
And are any of his people like recently from France?
No, they're
No.
they're Quebecois, so
I
they
see.
trickled down over the hundreds of years.
And how's your French?
And if I'm in the kitchen, it's fantastic. If I'm reading a menu, no problem. My Spanish, I'm fluent in Spanish, but I can get
Okay.
around in French.
Which is much more necessary in kitchens running a restaurant around here. What percentage of your staff on any given night have Spanish as their birth language?
As their native language, probably the three. I mean, just thinking of today, there's three there right now. That their native language was Spanish. Of course, they speak English as well. Sometimes it's easier for me to explain things, or if we're really busy, to communicate things in their native tongue, and that
Right.
makes it much easier for them as well as for me, because
Probably
we can communicate a lot more efficiently.
probably makes it a much more pleasant work experience also.
Sure. Yeah.
For everybody.
Yeah.
So I mean, you said that was one of the ideas of the restaurant going in, is that it has a pleasant and collegial sort of work atmosphere. What things do you consciously try to do? I mean, you remind yourself every day, like, do this, do that.
I mean, it's much more than a hello and a goodbye and a how are you.
Right.
It's a balance of life. It is getting to know them on a personal level while supporting them on a professional level.
Right.
For us, it really is about balance of life. Restaurant work is demanding, and for people that love it, it can be fun, but it can get very monotonous, I guess you could say. It's the same thing over and over and over and over again. How do we switch it up? How do we change it up? So that's always something that I'm trying to do every day is be everyone's friend. No, but that comes naturally. But try to engage our staff in educational and exciting ways that gets them inspired about the service. And I can't make the same engagement every single day or the same inspiration every single day back to back to back.
Right.
So it's always a fun trick. Maybe there's a new wine, or have you tried this new Uruguayan red that we've got in? No,
Right.
Let's talk about it. Have you heard of this grape? No, you haven't. Me either. Let's learn about it.
Now, it said somewhere in your resume, in your online resumes, that you were a sommelier.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, that's a big shed, right?
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. So I went to school at the Culinary Institute of America. My bachelor's degree is in business management, with my minor being in wine and spirits.
Okay.
So I moved to California for 9 months. I studied
To St. Helena.
correct to St. Helena, Napa Valley. It's an awful place. If you've never been,
Horrible.
treacherous. I mean, I'd rather go to Arkansas.
Ugh.
But the classes there were 9 months hard, and it was 100 wines a day, 4 days a week, at least.
No way.
Yeah. The term power tasting comes into effect, and it is a full-time job, power tasting. Because we're learning as much as we can about as many grapes from many different regions around the world. Not only that, but we're learning about winemaking characteristics of different winemakers from different regions. We're learning how these grapes should be made into wine, what should be done to solve the problem, etc. I really got fascinated with wine and spirits before my bachelor's, before moving to California, because I wanted to be a chef. I went to school to be a chef. I wanted to be in kitchens. And then we were in dining rooms, and I was like, oh my God, I don't want to be a chef anymore. I want to talk to people. I want to engage at the dining room level.
Right.
So I really got into wine and spirits. Moved out to California, studied crazy amount of wine, and then I stayed in California. I was a junior sommelier at RN74, which is Rajat Par's restaurant there in the financial district of San Francisco. It has since closed. But that was my first break as a quote-unquote sommelier. It was nothing more than a cellar rat. Here's this bottle, go get it. We need this bottle,
right.
Go get it. You can't find it, open your eyes. I've then danced around many different places. Being a sommelier is actually the footstep that got me into the Amsterdam was controlling their beverage program, was reinvigorating their beverage program and creating what we now know as the Amsterdam Bar.
If they'd been open 2 months, how much reinvigorating could they really need?
Let's just say it took me a little while.
Okay.
We'll leave it there.
Huh. Now it said it said you were the Court of Master Sommelier Sequence and Standards of Service.
Yes.
What does that mean?
A very it's a very, what you just read is a very rigorous checklist of how a sommelier conducts themselves in the dining room near the guest with a bottle of wine. The Court of Masters of Sommeliers is a international, I don't know what to call it. It's a club, if you will. But they're focused on theory and education of the sommelier. So it's about knowing your grapes, knowing your regions, knowing the producers, the name of the dog in the vineyard, what color the truck is that picks the grapes. It's not only that, it's about proper sequences of service, presenting the bottle the correct way, speaking of the bottle in the correct way to the guest, opening it the correct way, pouring it in a certain sequential order, which is known as the correct way. And the list goes on. So we are studying 2 days, and then we have 1 day of a theory test and a service exam. So the theory test is like an 8-page exam, asking questions about wine, grapes, vintages, regions, and then later is the service exam, where it's a table of 8 master sommeliers sitting at the table greeting you. There are 4 levels to the Court of Master Sommeliers. You have your introduction, you're certified, you're advanced, and your master. You're masters of wine, essentially. And that's the master level, of which I know that there are less than 100. I can't remember the exact number.
And did you get up there to the master level?
No.
Okay.
No, I got to level 2.
Okay.
I'm grateful for it.
Right.
The years after I received my level 2, just a couple of years ago, maybe longer, there was some scandalous things that had come out about the Court of Master Sommeliers and how some of the master somms were conducting themselves with some of their female counterparts or students.
I've heard that.
You heard about it.
It's an old boys sort of gross place in that way.
I guess I renounced my title, you could say. And thank you for reminding me to pull it from my LinkedIn as well.
Oh, you renounced your title?
I did. I didn't.
So I don't want to be a member of that gross club.
Exactly. And
fraternity.
When I was at RN74 in San Francisco, it was the sommelier that was training me was not in any way certified as a sommelier through the quartermaster or through WSET or any of the other trusts that control the beverage world. He wasn't a sommelier. He wasn't a certified sommelier. He was a sommelier, but he didn't have a piece of paper that says, hey, I'm good for it.
Oh, okay.
He was good for it. He was fantastic. And when all of that kind of came about from quartermaster, I kind of was like, I'm still a sommelier. I just don't need that piece of paper that's now tainted.
Right. And is sommelier like were they, denomination contrôlée, or, I mean, Is it a word that like you can't use unless it's, like the word realtor? I don't know if
Right.
you're aware of this.
You got your license or not?
Yeah, you need to join the Association of Realtors.
Yeah.
It's a trademarked word. Is sommelier sort of like that at all, or can anybody who has all of that experience and expertise call themselves a sommelier?
I don't know. It's a pretty loaded question. It's a pretty loaded question.
I didn't mean to.
Because I guess anyone could say that they're a sommelier.
Right.
The sommelier does not boast, does not brag.
I see.
The sommelier is there to be of service.
And is there an actual code of sommelier behavior?
Oh, absolutely.
Like you don't boast, you don't brag, you're there to be of service.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Of
course.
Are you at liberty to share any of those things?
I mean, I don't have the textbook on me.
Right.
It weighs about 30 pounds, but
Oh, boy.
I could bring it in. No, there's certain ways to dress how you taste wine, like the amount that you would taste, and whether or not your opinion of the wine is asked for demands how far you're allowed to go talk to the guest about the wine. Because essentially what you're doing is you're providing the encyclopedia version of the label that's on that bottle of wine.
Right.
And not only the encyclopedia, but the historical archives and the Facebook posts and whatever. You're there to inform the story that needs to be told about the wine in a very technological and kind of fun way.
Sure.
So yeah, I guess you could say anybody can be called sommelier.
Right.
You just got to know your stuff.
And so when somebody comes in, orders a really nice bottle of wine at the Amsterdam,
Yeah.
Who serves that?
Oh, that would be me.
Okay.
That would be me. Yeah. And
Okay.
I always get giddy and excited.
You like doing that?
I love doing it.
I mean, so it might well fall to the server, but you're like, I like doing that. I want to keep
love
my hand in
doing
that.
it. I love talking about it too. If I see a
Right.
guest that's flipping through the wine list and I come back on the next lap and they're still going through it, I'll go, hey, how's it going? Can I answer any questions for you? Like,
Yeah.
I'm the guy that buys all of this and wrote this entire list. Like,
Right.
do you have any questions? Can I help answer something? Is something that you're looking for specifically? And I love those interactions.
And does the list, I haven't seen the wine list there, does it have like pretty good descriptions of what each wine is?
It does not, no.
Like
So
like the liquor store in town has nice little cards.
I love those little cards.
They're so good.
The screamers is what we call them.
Screamers.
Yeah. No, my wine list is broken down by grape type.
Okay.
And then the name of the winery or the winemaker, and then the region that it's from. And of course, the price.
Okay. So for the additional information, they need to come to ask the server or you. And how often in the course of all of this have people sent a bottle back and said, no, this is no good, it's corked or whatever?
I think my entire career, maybe twice.
Wow.
Maybe twice.
Huh.
Yeah. The sommelier's responsibility is to ensure the soundness of the wine, to ensure that the identity of the wine is matched with the expectation.
Right.
So as a sommelier, present the bottle, you accept the bottle as you ordered. I would then remove myself, open the bottle with an eye view of yourself. I would open the bottle and taste maybe an ounce at the absolute most, nose it, taste it, make sure that the wine is sound and safe to serve, and then serve it to you. Make sure you like it.
Safe to serve. Are there dangers out there lurking inside bottles of Burgundy?
Right. Yeah. If over the last 10 years, we've seen different closures come about in wine bottles. I'm
right.
seeing a lot more glass corks now. We saw a lot of plastic and polymer corks over the years.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot more glass and screw top closures now.
Okay.
One of the biggest threats is cork taint.
Right.
Which the wine smells corked. It's trichloroanisole. If you want to get technical, TCA is what we call it shorthand.
Yeah.
But it's a bacteria that is found in the bark of the cork tree, lower to the forest floor.
Right.
When they remove the bark of the cork tree to punch the corks out to sell to wineries, the bacteria is found in one cork, and the batch will spread to the rest of the corks. Once put into the bottle, the wine's gone. It's dead.
Right.
It's done.
Oof.
Up until COVID, we didn't have many issues with what we call matterization, matterizing wine. But when COVID happened, the ports were shut down. Boats couldn't get in. Ships couldn't get in. Shipping containers couldn't get in.
Oh.
We had a big kind of gap in the amount of wine that was delivered vintage wise for number of months. I had 50 cases coming in from Loire, France on a shipping container that I had bought, and it sat in port for 4.5 months. The wine was cooked.
Oh,
The wine was cooked. It smells kind of like caramely.
so who pays for that?
We all do.
Right.
Eventually, the insurance was able to take care of it from the winery side, and no one was faulted.
And do wines like that have any use anywhere else for anything like vinegar? Or, I mean, what can they
I
be
would
used for?
imagine absolutely. At least in the Madderized world.
Right.
I'm not sure about the corked wine world, if that
Right.
industry has any resurgence. But the term Madderization comes from sherry.
Oh,
It's you got time? It's a long story.
no, we don't have any
No.
time.
Oh, we're
running
done.
out- We're
Oh,
running out.
God.
No, we have a
Oh.
little bit more time.
Oh, cool. Okay.
But not for a long
We'll
story.
skip that then.
I just want to ask, what's a glass cork?
A glass cork is essentially that. It is a glass plug that fits perfectly into the
I
neck
don't
of the
think
bottle.
I've ever seen a wine with a
Well, come over
glass
to the Amsterdam, and
Oh.
I'll show you.
Where is the Amsterdam?
The Amsterdam is located at 6380 Mill Street in Rhinebeck, New York.
Uh-huh.
We're
Is-
open 7 days a week, 5
Is-
o'clock for dinner, and 11 a.m. for brunch.
Do they have a website and a URL and
You
stuff?
do, yeah. You can find us at lovetheamsterdam.com.
LoveTheAmsterdam.com. And people freaking love the Amsterdam. I went through Yelp and TripAdvisor to find some really horrible reviews.
Yeah.
And it was really hard to do. I mean, of course, there's always cranks who are not happy with
Of
this
course.
or that, or the guy with the bow tie at the front of the house.
Yeah,
But like
that's me.
people,
That was me.
but people freaking love that place.
Thanks.
You
It's
know, by and large, everybody really loves the Amsterdam.
it's because we love it too. It's
Right.
because the people that work there love it too.
Love that. That must be extra sort of gratifying to be a part of creating an atmosphere where the employees are happy to be working there.
I'm 28 years old. I love my job, and I can guarantee that everyone that works for me loves theirs.
That's just delightful.
Thanks. I feel delighted.
Yeah, that's good. All right, I've got other questions. What
All right.
happened with Lucky Dragon?
Lucky Dragon, talk about COVID, right? So we had Lucky Dragon here in Rhinebeck. That was our farm to chopstick Chinese restaurant. It got tons of mixed reviews. But the the great thing about it is how real and how fresh that food was. All of the meat coming here from Dutchess County, everything that we could make in-house, we had a full dumpling program.
Delicious.
It was
so
much
delicious.
fun. We had closed that in the beginning of 2020 for renovations for a third restaurant in our family of restaurants. We were in the process of moving Lucky Dragon to another location in Uptown Kingston that was going to be a little more late night and younger friendly, I guess I could say. And then we were going to open up a third restaurant here. When the world ended in March 17th of 2020, we sold both of those properties in Kingston and in Rhinebeck and focused everyone and all of that capital back to our flagship, the Amsterdam.
And is there still a dream of opening other restaurants?
There's always a dream. There's always a dream. I think I've got a new dream every single week. This week, it's a really awesome breakfast joint, like a shoebox of a breakfast restaurant.
The Puerto Rican place right next door has pretty good breakfast.
Oh, okay. I'll
You
check
should
them
give
out.
it a shot. Yeah, they've got Tres Leches pancakes, which,
Are they still open? I gotta go.
they've stopped serving breakfast.
Yeah.
Well, Rhinebeck really could use a Chinese restaurant,
Couldn't agree more.
and Lucky Dragon fare was so delicious,
Thank you.
and I loved the farm to chopstick line. It was super, super good. All right, more questions. We
Bring it
have
on.
5 minutes
Rapid
left.
fire. I'm good for it.
And how did you guys fare through the pandemic? I know you opened sort of a grocery place in there selling different things.
That was a lot of fun.
Staples.
So we shuttered for 4 months. We closed from March 17th to July 27th.
Just to get the lay of the land? I mean, what was the idea?
When we closed in March 17th, when we closed, we said to everyone, hey, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. It was be a month at most, right? And we're like, all right, month turned into 2. And then we said, we're not going to open up for takeout. We're going to protect the safety of obviously our staff, but also of our vendors that are having to come and deliver us food. So we decided to remain shut until July 27th. July 27th was when they were supposed to relieve the unemployment insurance and get everybody back to work. As we all know, that was delayed over a year. So we opened up July 27th. In the interim between March and July, I gutted my main dining room. I gave away all of the tables and chairs to local businesses that were opening up their new outdoor operations. And I designed a retail space within our main dining room. We had a ton of local products similar to here at the Epicurean. Was actually one of our providers, as well as a good handful of import and some higher end provisions that we had. We operated the market for a year. For 2. Was it?
It was a beautiful thing. People really enjoyed that market during the lockdown.
I'd never considered myself to be in a retail kind of job, and I had a lot of fun with it. A year ago, last month, we removed the market and reinstalled brand new tables and chairs and a beautiful gallery wall in the main dining room.
It's nice. It's a beautiful restaurant, which is another thing. All the reviews remark on what a lovely bar and main room it is. All right, you said you went to the CIA to be a chef.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing at some point, probably before Des Moines and probably somewhere down in Mississippi, you started cooking. How did you learn to cook?
I cooked since memories were made.
So your mother and grandmother's delight?
Yeah, absolutely. My grandmother was always in the kitchen.
What was her best dish?
It's really hard.
All right,
it's going to sound crazy, but we in the South, it's like loaded with sugar. It's called candied apples, and candied apples appear with caramel and nuts on them. Our candied apples are a bag of Red Hots. You know the Red Hots candy?
Sure.
Pound of butter, 6 apples cut up, and you boil it. You fill it up with water until the apples are covered, and then you boil it for like an hour.
Right.
And they're like just red hot apples. It is an insane amount of sugar. And that was my favorite thing. I can taste it right now.
And do you make that yourself?
No, I don't. I haven't made that.
And what about Mom's favorite recipes growing up? I mean, I'm guessing Mom served you most of your meals.
Mom definitely served me most of my meals. Her Sunday roast, out of this world.
Do you make that?
I do not. My husband does.
Okay. As good as Mom? He's not listening, you can say.
No, not as good as Mom. No. Mom's still got it going on.
I lied. He's listening. Now you're in huge trouble. So you must have had some dish when you decided that you wanted to be a chef that you're like, oh yeah, this thing is fucking amazing. I want to make more amazing dishes like this.
I think the amazing dishes were a fun plus. It was a byproduct. I love the energy, the excitement of working in a kitchen. That was really why I got into it. I mean, the food had always been a part of my life, and I was cooking way before I even was in school. I loved the action of the kitchen a lot more.
Right. Also known as the fucking insanity of the kitchen.
Yeah. Yeah. Just absolutely.
I mean, it's not a job. It's a lifestyle.
100%. Rock and roll.
Very, very, very interesting. All right. We've got like a half a minute left.
Okay.
Dirty food secrets. Do you love like McDonald's or Wendy's or RC Cola or what do you
I could eat chili cheese fries until the day I died and be the happiest person in the world.
And who makes the best chili cheese fries from your youth or today? You must be able to find them somewhere.
I mean, Sonic had it going on when I was a kid. It was Sonic, the drive-up.
There was a Sonic in Kingston opposite Adams for a while.
Oh, no way.
There was. They're gone now.
Just like me.
All right. Well, just like you. And now it's time. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. My guest tonight has been the wonderful Fletcher William Tingle III. Named after Grandpa, who was named after his grandpa.
Yeah.
And Fletcher, thanks so much for coming in and talking and for running this beautiful place in this beautiful town.
Thank you so much.
Everybody have a great Friday and a fabulous weekend, and we'll tune in again next week.